we met at, from my memory, at a party in North Bondi, actually.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We had a mutual friend, and they were having a housewarming party.
And I just, the memory was the host actually introduced us, but I had set out that night with, I think, 5 business cards in my back pocket with the intent of, I'm finding my 5 people. Like, I'm finding my first 5 people, right?
Yeah.
And there was something about that. Like, we had the conversation, and it was, for me, it was even like, oh, wow, this is happening already, right?
Yeah.
5 years ago, I think this was. And what it led to, one of the first earliest memories that I've got is we organised our first coffee catch up, and I found out that you were working as what for Westpac at the time? You were working as a there.
Yeah, I just finished a job there as a digital brand director,
right?
And had moved to another bank, and had kind of accidentally set up a business,
right?
And was moonlighting back at Westpac as well, and you know, it was perfect timing because I needed someone to coach and guide me on how to grow and manage a business, and how to grow and manage myself, really.
So, and in hearing that, so then you had digital native on the side, like you already knew the calling was there, you already knew the vibe was there.
Yeah, look, I mean, to be, to be really honest with you, I set up digital native because it was more money in my pocket than going through a third party HR company.
Yeah. Right.
So it kind of, I kind of accidentally ended up being a business owner.
Oh, I like that.
All I wanted to do was design good web experiences. I didn't really want to run a business.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm learning more now as well than all that time back. I love that.
Yeah, man. So much has 5 years, huh? So much has changed. It's incredible.
But see, this is it. From that night at the North Bondi party and having that first coffee afterward, to then seeing what has actually occurred over the last 5 years, all the way up to today. My curiosity is, we're like foundation training on sessions on side hustle to growth and Flux and all the rest of it. What I'm curious on the one piece that's been most supportive the whole way through.
Yeah, absolutely. And James, we've done like hundreds of sessions together, and you taught me, I'm either a really bad student or my hearing's not working or something. No, but I mean, I get so much out of every session that we do, and there's so much that you've taught me, and we, my personal and spiritual and business growth have all been exponential. But I think really the one thing that has been most profound and useful for me, and the one thing I kind of tell everyone to do when they're kind of first starting out in just starting to understand how the world, the universe really works, is the thing you taught me about keeping an evidence file.
Right.
When something magical, unexpected, lucky, intended, reflective of where you want to go in your life happens, no matter how small, put it in your evidence file. Put it in here.
Yep.
I'm already on to my fourth one. You just keep, writing it down. And there's 2 reasons why this is important. The first is, and this is what you taught me, when you're having a bad day, open your evidence file and read through it. It'll definitely lift your mood, right? 100%. Because it'll be like, oh, I remember when that happened. Oh, yeah, that was great. I can't believe how that worked out. Oh, that was such a fantastic memory. So it'll kind of give you a bit of a pep up when you're feeling like it's not working, right? Because there are going to be times when it's tough. But the other thing, which I think is even more important, is the evidence file is kind of proof at the beginning that stuff is starting to happen.
Yes.
And people get very frustrated when they start doing this sort of work because why hasn't it happened? It's not working yet. Is it working yet? I can't feel anything.
Yeah, right.
And so the evidence file is actually and for me, as you told me, the smaller the detail, the more important it is in the evidence file, because it's just starting to build that awareness of how the universe is conspiring to give you exactly what you want.
I love it.
So the more you start to document it, then we feel like we've got this proof, you know, which is so important to people these days. But more importantly than that, it makes you focus on the stuff that's happening in your favor. And the more you focus on it, the more it happens, you know. And so, I mean, I've got some crazy stuff in my evidence file now, and the level at which I'm manifesting is magnificent, you know. A great example was, there's a staff member who's working for us now, contacted me out of the blue. And it was at a stage when I wanted to grow the business, and I wanted to grow the business by having the right people around the table. We've got, I mean, you know this, we've got a beautiful big wooden table, and everyone kind of works around it. And it's, you know, part of the time it's more like a family lunch than a work day. And so it's very important to have the right people and the right energy and the right kind of vibe, so that we're all having fun while we're working.
Yes.
And so I wanted to grow the business, and I'd started with some advice from you. I'd started on, instead of focusing on the clients, focus on the people, focus on the team, and trust that the clients will come when the team's in place.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, it was good advice, man. And so, you know, I'm focusing on that. I'm meditating on that. Out of the blue, someone contacts me on LinkedIn. Hey, my name is so-and-so. I've just done a couple of internships. I'm looking to get into some design. Can we grab a coffee? Can you give me a call? Can you just give me some advice? I'm like, yeah, sure, not a problem. We had started to really want to look into getting into the NDIS space, which, you know, for your international audience, NDIS is the space in Australia that deals with benefits for people with handicaps. So and there are a whole bunch of businesses that support that. And from a digital point of view, I run a digital agency, so we build websites. We wanted to build accessible websites that anyone could use and could help, and we want tech to be used for good. So it was important to us, you know, we're trying to build a name for ourselves in this niche.
Like that.
And this guy turns up, and we have a coffee, and he's already working in that space as a carer. He's already working in the space, caring for people with severe disabilities.
Right.
And he's already started doing the design. Like, he's better than perfect, you know. And on top of that, his hobby is magic. He's a magician.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And you know, so that's having that in my evidence file. When I'm having a bad day and I go back and I read that note about you know, that person being part of our team, and I realize what an amazing member of our team he is now, and I realize how much the team has grown from there, it's kind of a bit of a, you know, pick you up and shake yourself. And it's like, everything's going to be okay. You're just having a bad day. Get back on track.
Right.
Get back on focusing on what you want. Get back on trusting that it's going to work out perfectly. And, you know, stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant example. I was actually even hearing that my one looking in at your experience was the evolution of the offices.
Yeah.
I just kept saying, you're like, oh, but we need it to go bigger. Here's the intent. Here's the goal. And then all of a sudden, dude, we just moved into our new office. Yeah. This is this. And then watching the ebb and flow of the growth, but then seeing it started with a coffee at a table into now we've got this. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So that's that's the new location. Yeah. And then to hear you say we just shifted it into the new one, which is the current one.
Yeah.
Which is such a good fit.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, two things on that. One, I mean, I remember the first day we moved in, we just moved in the table, and I was like, James, shit, I'm freaking out. We have to have a session. Oh, what have I done? You know, and you know, we had that really intense session around the table. There was stuff everywhere. Nothing was plugged in. We didn't even have the internet set up, you know, and now the neighbors closed the door because all that comes out of our office all day long is roaring laughter. You know, and we've got like one of the women who works for me, she works for me a couple of days from home, and her husband's like sick of having her work from home because she's like, it's no fair. You have so much fun in your job and mine is so painful. When can I come and work for Matt?
Yeah, right.
You know, because it's just, you know, fun is a really important value for me, and so I want to have fun in what I'm spending most of my day doing. So all that to say, the office has worked out perfectly. But another little beautiful thing about that evidence file was we had to move offices quickly. You know, we'd been kicked out. The people we were subletting from wanted the space back. And I remember when I was briefing one of the real estate agents, I said, I want to be in this office, like something, we could never end up in there, but something like this is perfect. That's the brief, you know, and guess what? We ended up in the office that was the brief. you know? And the other beautiful thing was that the night you and I met, we also met a third guy, who's a commercial real estate agent, and he signed the lease for us. And he's a client of yours too. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. I don't want to mention names and stuff like that.
No, sure, yeah, sure. That just landed for me too.
Just that perfect loop that closed. So, you know, the night I met you, I met this other guy. The three of us are still great friends. We're all still working together, and the universe is delivering everything we need for us.
I'm in positive shock on that now too, because I didn't realize that was the connector.
Mate, put it in your evidence file.
Yeah. Oh, no, well, look, there you go. Thank you very much for the time this morning. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, buddy.
Really good wrap up. And yeah, we'll see you on the next session.
Thanks, bro. I love you. Thank you for everything.
I appreciate it. You too.